Hello, everybody. Good to be back here doing a talk. I feel like I've been away for a little while, and even though I've been here, I haven't had a chance to talk with you for a while. Was in Unity Village with the group, and wow, what a time we had, and a good time, and just a wonderful retreat, and just great to be together and have experiences together and eat together and pray together and walk at the labyrinth together and process grief together and learn things. And you know, and I'll have to tell you, when I decided about this morning, we were talked about having an annual Dios de los Muertes service, and we were coming costume, and I'm so glad some of you did. And I just wasn't ready to do costume this morning. I had some other things on my mind, and that'll probably show in this talk, because I got to thinking about, well, let me back up a little bit. I was thinking about being at the retreat, and oh gosh, you know, it's really good when you can go to a retreat on a subject, be a presenter on the subject, and also have an experience while you were there and have a healing while you were there. And one of the things that I decided to process while I was at the retreat, and you have all heard me talk about it before, it's my body. It's my body, you know, growing older. It isn't what it used to be. It's not as tight as it once was, blah, 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 blah. But again, I must have had something to heal, because it was on my mind at the grief retreat. And so Emily Threat was there and doing a journaling workshop. And the first thing she had us do in her workshop was to, whatever we've chose to heal or whatever grief we've chose to work on, that we would bring it up and we would write a letter to it. Oh, wonderful. We're going to write a letter. Well, I was sticking with it. I thought, I'm going to write the letter to my body. Well, what a cathartic experience that was. I'll tell you. Gosh, you know, I did a lot of thank yous to it. Thank you for supporting me walking the halls and putting up with everything all that I've put it through in my life. My goodness, what a body it's been to me. And so I did a lot of thanking, and I did some apologizing for not being as gentle with it as I could be, especially as I grow older, and not paying attention to my balance or banging into things. And so I finished my letter, and I had to shed a tear or two along with everybody else in the room. And then Emily, good old Emily, she won't be back speaking here after this workshop. No, that's not true. She will be back. Emily says, now, whoever you wrote the letter to, have that person or it write a letter back to you. Oh, Emily, thanks. Well, my body wrote me the most beautiful letter. Really was grateful that I was going to be more gentle with it, and was grateful for my gratitude, and promised me that it was going to support me. And as long as I was having this human experience, as best as it could. And we connected. We had a bonding moment at the retreat. I said, okay, yeah. And my body said, you know what? You don't have to look at me in the mirror when you walk in to take a shower. You don't have to look at me, but I wish you would, because I'm looking pretty good. So, all right, there's that experience. And so I made a decision also while I was at the retreat. It's my sister's fault. I'll blame it on her. She's here, so I can blame it on her. She told me I need to watch my finances closer. I have to. So I was looking at I see her. And so I'm looking at, how much I spend at the personal trainer. So I decided I spend too much on, I'm important, the body's important, but I can't spend that much anymore. So I've decided after all these years of personal training, I don't need a personal trainer. I can do it on myself. So I went to Forma Gym here in Walnut Creek, and they had a great sale going on, and I'm taking a tour, and I'm with Jacob, who's about 29, had been in the military. Buff. We were walking past the classes that I wanted to take about conditioning your body, and he said, I know these are your kind of classes, but all I can think of is working out fast and building muscle. And so I'm walking down the hall next to this young military guy, and down the hall comes this old lady. I mean, she's walking fast, and she's an old lady. She's older than my sister. She's in her 90s. And, and as she comes along, she says, move out of my way, young'uns. To me and Jacob. I said, well, thank you very much. That made my day, it made my week, it made my year, and it made the retreat worthwhile. Well, if, you know, how we do truly manifest our reality. And when we're open and receptive, we're open to creative ideas that we can bring manifest. And so then, you know, I get back from the retreat and I'm manifesting all kinds of things after the retreat, and it's Dios de los Muertes. But I really wanted to talk about the earth today. And I thought, well, gosh, that really goes with Dios de los Muertes, because what I keep picturing in my mind is these De los Muertes celebrations at the cemetery, where they're bringing food and decorating the graves and welcoming past lives back and celebrating with them on the planet, on our planet Earth, and having their energies be around us with the energy of planet Earth. And so I thought, well, I'm going to talk about Earth this Sunday, and that made me think about dominion. And because I was thinking about the creation story in Genesis, and you know, we were creating the separation between the earth and the sky, and was there really a separation? But we created a separation, but we're really a part of it. And man came around, and then there wasn't, the soil was there in the water, but there wasn't anybody to toil the soil. So the man who wrote Genesis, or whoever remembered it, told us, and he said, and so man was created in our image and after our likeness, and then he said, let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heaven, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Let them have dominion. Well, what is dominion? I mean, we can interpret dominion a lot of ways. In our human past, we certainly see where those writers that have come along after the creation story was first written, and every culture has a creation story. And so this is the creation story of the Judaic people, of the Abrahamic people, the Muslims, the Christians, the Jews, their creation story. And in it, why wouldn't we have dominion? Why wouldn't we, if we have consciousness, if we're divine mind, connected to divine mind, receiving ideas and manifest them, why we should have dominion? And so dominion, when we look it up in Webster, it means supreme authority, sovereignty. As a perfect, now let's look at it metaphysically. Now listen carefully. As a perfect child of God, man is born to complete dominion over all creation. I'm going to read that again. Man is born to complete dominion over all creation, manifestation. Dominion is an inner consciousness obtained only through mind discipline. This supreme authority comes as man realizes his oneness with the Father. Let's turn that into today's language. As we connect with the Christ within, as we claim our divinity, as we move into our oneness with God, and we realize that, and we begin to realize all the gifts that we have, our power, our wisdom, our strength, our imagination, our faith. As we realize that, we develop the inner consciousness of dominion, of authority, of keeping track of watching, of taking care of nourishing the planet. Not of, raising livestock to be slaughtered. Not of having million-acre chicken hatcheries. Not of filling the earth with glass or the seas with plastic. The power and right of dominion and authority are innate with man. Having been implemented there, having been implanted there by divine mind at man's creation. So going back to the Genesis story, divine mind, as the universe was creating, I'm not going to get into how the universe was created today. That's another topic on its own, okay? But as the universe, as the world as we know it, as we've manifested, as we individually have imagined it and created it, and as that happened, divine mind, we connected with the idea of authority. And it's innate with us. We bring that forward with us. It's implanted there for us, for man in this human experience. I'm sure at one point on this planet, the dinosaurs that we see fossils of had dominion. They had authority. They had control over everything. And they vanished. And there were tons of other things, tons of species, tons of microbes, tons of macrobes that could have had authority. And then along comes man, and we have dominion. And what do we do with our dominion? So dominion then is back of the visible universe. It's the original plan, an idea in spirit. It's the back of the visible universe are both the original creative ideas and those that are brought forth as earthly things. In the creative process, divine mind first ideates itself. Divine mind produces ideas. It connects with an idea. In the scriptures, divine mind is named as Jehovah, meaning I am, the ever-living, he who is eternal. It's not us, it's not man, it's divine mind who is eternal. I am the ever-living, the ongoing, the forever, the infinite. The creation is carried forward through the activity of the Holy Spirit. It's eternal and divine mind. So then just like our lives, creation is from the formless to the formed, from the invisible to the visible. And this goes on perpetually. There's never a beginning or ending to the process. The ideal is continually pouring itself into creation and lifting it higher and higher. And so creation, that as it's described in Genesis in the first chapter, describes the creative action of universal mind in the realm of ideas and does not pertain to the manifest world. So that creation story doesn't pertain to what we manifest, to all of our human experience creations. This truth is substantiated in the second chapter, where it stated that there was not a man to till the soil. This proves conclusively, according to Charles Fillmore, that the first creation described is the realm of ideas. So man comes along later within the realm of ideas. So we with dominion have dominion over this human experience, over the earth. We get to choose how we create it, how we imagine it, how we bring it into consciousness. So Nathan Friedman, who is an avid writer, a gardener, and a knitting enthusiast, who lives and works in Wisconsin, offers us 6 refreshing ways to connect with the earth. And I'm going to offer them to you because I can see a lot of the members of our virtual community connecting with one of them. I think you're doing some of them already. And first off, he says, for a deeper connection with the world around you, there are 6 different ways you can do that. And first of all, we can start with a do-it-yourself nature altar. I like it. I sort of got one behind me here. I've got I've got the earth here, and I've got it in my hands. And so we do have the whole world in our hands, and the flowers and the trees and the roses and the astrameria and the mums. I think they're mums. I don't even know what they are. Marsha, are they mums? And yes, sure, they're mums. And I get to create that. So we can, in today's busy world, forming a true connection with the earth can seem impossible, doesn't it? Most jobs are indoors, and with the pandemic, even recreation, entertainment, and social activities are confined to a screen. If you've been feeling especially stressed and anxious lately, it may be because you haven't been spending enough time in nature. Let's talk about these 6 simple ways, and let's start with the nature altar. If you aren't able to get outside as often as you'd like, try connecting to nature with a nature altar. Creating a nature altar is a deeply personal act, and there's no one set of instructions for making one. Instead, think of what nature means to you. When you visualize a natural environment, do you picture rushing waterfalls, waving grass, even a tall, shadowy forest? Collect a few items that remind you of this environment. If you feel most in tune with nature when you're on the beach, for example, your altar could contain a few seashells, a shallow bowl of sand to run your fingers through, and a sea salt scented candle. If you prefer the woods, try some dark green fabric and a handful of pine needles. And add this to a few of your favorite pictures or paintings of nature and a potted plant or 2. Find a place in your house where you're able to relax, or alternatively, a place where you need more relaxation, such as a home office, and make a space for your nature altar there. You can put it on a shelf, in a window, or even pack it away in a box until you'd like to look at it again. Think of your nature altar as a charging station for your soul. Whenever you're overwhelmed or need a moment of peace, go to your nature altar and spend as much time as you need reconnecting with the earth. Yes. I'm telling you, it works. It works. It just works. It's a good thing to do. In my new place, in my former place, I was on the 2nd floor. Now I'm on the 1st floor. And when I go out on the little balcony I'm right there in nature. There's trees and birds and squirrels real close. And I can connect with that. And looking up at the bright blue sky, it's a moment of peace and relaxation. And so even though, things on the news seem one way, we can stop and create that consciousness of the beauty of the earth. We can do that in our consciousness. One of the things that as we're looking at putting our 2023 and 24 plan together, one of the things I want us to look at is bringing back our Earth Care Ministry team. We may not have a physical plant or physical church anymore, but we certainly have consciousness. And holding Earth Care in our consciousness is a beautiful Earth Care team. And so we'll talk about that later. Another thing you can do to bring yourself closer to the earth is to grow edible plants from seeds. And some of you are doing that already. Growing edible plants from seeds is a great way to become more deeply connected with nature. And edible plants literally help you put down roots into the earth. From the amount of the time that you're required to spend outside with your hands in the dirt, and the way they allow you to observe their birth and their growth and the growth of new life. Some of the easiest plants to grow from seeds in your own home, and you know this, are tomatoes and bell peppers. Just make sure you water those tomatoes and you'll have, hopefully, tomatoes that have a taste to them. Remember tomatoes tasting? Stopping in a field and picking a fresh, ripe tomato. And when I was younger, we would carry a salt shaker in the car. You know, we could pull it up a little salt, but we don't put salt on things anymore so much. You don't even need to buy seeds from a gardening store. Simply buy a few fresh vegetables, scoop out and rinse their seeds, leave them to dry for a few days on a piece of paper towel, and after ensuring that the seeds are clean, plant them about 1 inch deep in a cup of dirt and place them on your windowsill, making sure to water them every day. Are you nourishing your plants? Think how they will someday nourish you. Think about how you, like all natural things, need water, warmth, and love. When your seedlings are about 2 inches tall, find a sunny spot outside to plant them. Plant them directly in the ground and watch them grow, and then harvest them and enjoy them, and enjoy the beauty of the earth at the same time. You can also keep a nature diary. What a great way to get back to nature, to go for a walk in a natural environment near your house and take a small notebook with you. And as you walk, write down as many details as you can observe about the space you're in. Capture as many different senses as you can. What do you smell when you tip your head back and breathe deeply through your nose? Oh, I can smell the roses behind me. Yes. And what do you hear when you hold yourself as still as possible and close your eyes? You don't have to write incomplete sentences, words, or phrases. Even the lines of a poem or song you're reminded of can help capture the environment you find yourself in. Then turn your observation inward. Think about how you feel in this natural environment. Are you calm, excited, bored? What is it about being in nature that makes you feel this way? Verbalizing your feelings can help you tune into them deeply. You might be surprised at the truths you reveal about yourself in this moment. Write down as much as you can. Date your entry. And if you'd like, press a couple of flowers or leaves between its pages. I brought a couple of leaves back from the Myrtle Fillmore Grove at Unity Village while I was there, and put them in Myrtle Philly's Healing Letters. And it just is so nice because it was so nice to sit in the garden and think of Myrtle and think of her writings. And now I have some leaves from the garden back at the village, and I can get in touch with her consciousness and my consciousness. It's about our consciousness. It's about our consciousness. So another way is to have nature-focused mindfulness moments. Nature-focused mindfulness moments. Mindfulness is a therapy concept that's begun to catch on outside of the doctor's office. At its most basic, mindfulness is the use of mantras and grounding techniques in order to anchor oneself in the current moment. It can reduce both immediate and long-term anxiety. A nature-focused mindfulness moment does this while also strengthening your connection with your natural surroundings. First, find an outdoors spot to enjoy. This can be a walk in the woods, a couple of steps out onto your porch, or simply sticking your head out the window. So easy to get into nature. Simply stick your head out the window. Relax and become aware of your body by breathing slowly and deeply. Hold each breath in for a couple of seconds before letting it out. And then begin a deep observation of the environment around you. List 5 things that you can see. The sky, for example, or a tree. Then continue with 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel or touch, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. Make sure to continue your breathing exercise as you do this, taking slow, deep breaths. And once you've finished going down your list of sensory details, take a minute to note how you feel in this moment. You should be calm, present, and more in touch with the natural world around you. And lastly, but not least, you can forage for wild salad greens. I like this one. Foraging for wild salad greens. There's no better way to connect with nature than to be nourished by it. And foraging for wild salad greens is a simple, healthy, and relatively safe way to do so. Foraging is an act of deep listening and close observations. You must tune in with your surroundings in order to pick out the bright purple of honeysuckle flowers from a field of green, or to tell ripe and unripe berries apart. After even just a few minutes of searching, you may find yourself feeling more closely connected to the natural world. You'll feel like a part of it, really, as a creature who is, however briefly, depending on the earth for your sustenance. Foraging can seem intimidating, but as long as you have a good foraging space and a reliable guide, it can be easy and fun. First, find out what edible plants are near where you live, and make sure to pick a public spot where pesticides haven't recently been applied, or if you pick the wrong berry, someone's around to see you pass out. And you can also look for dandelions and mustard plants while you're laying down there after eating the wrong berry. And so being out and connecting with nature is crucial to our mental and spiritual health. It brings us relaxation, peace of mind, and even helps us connect more deeply with our inner selves. May these tips bring you peace of mind, body, and spirit. And may any one of these 6 practices bring you closer to having dominion, to knowing dominion, to enjoying your dominion, to being love in the midst of dominion. Thank you for being here. Let's all go out and get into nature. Thank you.